The strongest Battlegrounds has been out for quite some time. I think slightly over 2 years, and in that time, a lot of moves and different move sets have came out. But while some of them have aged great and are still meta, there are quite a few that have fallen out of the meta or are just like pretty hard to use or are unusable. So I think I made this video to highlight the top 5 worst moves in the strongest Battlegrounds. That's right, the top 5 worst moves. Let's fucking get into it, dude. At move number 5, we have the classic counter, Perez Pearl. Now this move definitely isn't a bad move, especially when you put it along with the rest of Hero Hunter's moveset. But compared to like all the other moves that are added, and especially Atomic Samurai's counter, it's definitely lacking. In order to actually like use it to extend, you have to like flick your camera around and use Hunter's Grasp. It's like a whole thing, and you have to do all that just to extend with it. When Atomic Samurai's counter does the same thing, but it doesn't ragdoll, and you can just straight up extend with it without anything needed at all. But I guess the one thing that puts it a step above Atomic Samurai's counter is that it counters projectiles like Sonic's explosive shuriken and Genos' blitz shot and all of that. And even though it's a pretty buggy move, it's definitely not a bad move. But just compared to like all the new moves and other moves that are added, it definitely lacks in versatility, especially with it being a counter and everything. Yeah, so that's the reason why I put it as number 5. At move number 4, we probably have the most nerfed move in the game, Flash Strike. Now back in the day, this move was probably the easiest extender, but as you can see right now, it doesn't extend anymore. And I am definitely aware of the fact that you can find ways to extend with it. I even made a couple videos on this topic myself, but you know, now that they just nerfed it to the ground and it's so inconsistent, and you have to do all this extra stuff every time you want to extend your combo by just a few measly M1s, you might as well just use it when they're down slammed or after explosive shuriken or something, which is probably the best way you're actually going to extend or like even just land this move in general, considering, you know, the high end lag if they do block it. Like, I'm literally mashing my dash key right now, and just look at how much end lag I have. I can't do shit, which, you know, that kind of sucks because this move like fell from grace. It used to be like one of the best moves, and then it got nerfed really bad, and now you can barely do anything to actually confirm it. At number 3, we have Whirlwind Drop, and I'm actually going to keep this pretty short because I already mentioned this move in my last video. But basically, the reason this move is bad is because there's not a lot of ways to really confirm it. As you can see in the video, I'm doing 3 M1s into it, which is like the basic for every move. And I'm actually still having a pretty hard time even just landing it. As you can see, they still managed to block. And the only way you can kind of land this move is right after Bullet Barrage, which is they can just evasive out of. Or you use it when they're ragdolled, which any move can work if they're ragdolled, or at least most of them can. Overall, this move is kind of mid. It's pretty hard to land. It does like mid damage, like 21% damage. If they added like a close range variant to where it's just like a regular grab, kind of like how Crushed Rock is, then this move would definitely be a lot better than it is right now. Now on paper, Explosive Push sounds and looks like a pretty good move. You fly over to them, and then you do like a big AoE kaboom, and it guard breaks, and yeah, it does all this stuff. But one thing that they fail to mention to you is that it is the only guard break in your base. As you can see, Crushing Pull, Windstorm Fury, and Stone Coffin, all blockable. Now before, I'm pretty sure Stone Coffin like was a block bypass, but as of now, Explosive Push is the only guard break in your moveset. And don't forget, this move is also counterable, so your only guard break is a counterable like rush down, and it's probably the most obvious move in the game, which is why this deserves the number 2 spot for worst move in the game. For honorable mention, number 1, we have Rising Fist. I didn't feel like it was fair to add this in the actual like top 5 because it got removed already, but I still wanted to put it in the video. So here it is. This got removed for good reason. It did mid damage, had no range. It was basically just a setup for the 3 move, Earth Splitting Strike and Awakening, and overall it was just a pretty boring move, so I can understand why they wanted to remove it. For honorable mention number 2, we have Seismic Fist. This move got removed for a lot of the same reasons Rising Fist did. Most notably, it's really hard to hit, and it's an Awakening move, so those two don't really mix well together, and it also does really inconsistent damage. Now right here, it may look like it did 40 damage, which is pretty good for an Awakening move, but if you look back, you can actually see that before it did 20 damage. Why does it do 20 damage? And that's because you have to hit them smack dab on the face for it to actually do any value of damage, which I feel like for an Awakening move is pretty inconsistent, and is probably why it got removed for Psychic Ricochet, which is a much better Awakening move. Now this was a pretty tough decision, but the worst move in the game is Pinpoint Cut's air variant. There is literally no reason why this needs to exist. The base move is fine, it extends, it's consistent, yes, you can evasive out of it, but at least it extends. If you're looking on screen right now, look, Pinpoint Cut air variant, it doesn't even extend. And if you thought the dummy was blocking the way, I'll move the dummy, and then you can see that it still doesn't extend. It is absolutely crazy. And not to mention, this move has the worst hitbox in the game. Matter of fact, it only does 10 damage! It does 10 damage! It does 10 damage! You know what? It's a guard break. Ooh, so good. Pinpoint Cut is a guard break. But you know what? The ground version is a guard break too. How does someone make such a useless variant? It's like the hardest shit to aim in this game, and it does no damage, and it doesn't even extend. There's literally no reason why this needs to exist. Oh, what about if they do a bad dash and I can catch them? You can literally do that with the base mechanics of the game. You do not need a move. You can do it with the ground variant of this move. You do not need the air variant. It is horrible. It is trash! When it comes to the strongest Battlegrounds, I think they actually do their balancing very well. Yeah, maybe one move has like poor balancing and it might seem busted, but you know, what's the fun in everything being balanced? Why wouldn't you want to have the edge over someone? Which is why this video was kind of hard to make. Actually, the number 1 was going to be a completely different move. If you guess it in the comments, I'll heart it. But back to what I was saying, I don't think there are necessarily like any like worst move. Like, yeah, I made the whole point of the video was like, oh, top 5 worst moves in the strongest Battlegrounds. But what I mean is just like impractical. Like, there's a use for every move in the game. Maybe not the honorable mentions, those ones fucking suck. But you could probably find a way to use explosive push in your combo. I know Flash Strike is still pretty good. That's probably the reason why it got nerfed so much. And if you're really good, I guess you could find a use for the Pinpoint Cut air variant. But that move is still fucking trash. Don't get me wrong. Anyways, that's gonna be it. This video's been delayed for like 2 months. I don't know if I said that already. Bye bye!